There it is. All right, welcome everybody to this week's KubeVirt community meeting. It is the 11th of February, 2026. Again, spoiler alert, but we're 2 weeks until the code freeze, but we'll get to that in just a second. Before we begin, if you could please add your name to the attendees if you haven't already. We'd like to introduce new members or people that haven't introduced themselves before or for a really long time. So if that is you and you'd like to, then by all means, you can introduce yourself right now.
Yeah, I guess I can go first. So, hello everyone. It's great to see you guys. And my name is Zespri, and I'm from Taiwan. So I've been working on a project called Harvester for some time, and KubeVirt is one of the most crucial components inside it. And I also created the KubeVirt BMC project 2 years ago, and to address the need to provision operating system or software appliances such as Harvester on virtual machines backed by KubeVirt. So I know there are some recently there are some discussion about the gap between these KubeVirt virtual machines and Redfish implementation, and also the project inclusion. So I would like to raise a question and maybe later during the open floor session. So great to see you guys. Thank you.
Welcome, and great to be able to put a face to a name. Zespri also helped out with the Google Summer of Code project last year. Is there anyone else who'd like to introduce themselves?
Okay, so hello everyone. This is my first community call, and I'm primarily working on KubeVirt BMC project with Jespray. Uh, we have some discussion around open floor, so that we're going to discuss today. That's nice to be here today.
Awesome. Welcome. Is there anyone else? All right, we'll get to it then. So we'll have a quick look at the schedule. As I said before, we have code freeze in 2 weeks on the 25th of February. That's probably the only thing there. Which means, it must be time for me to also organize our next version 1.9 unconference, which will be somewhere between the 25th of February and the second week of March. Probably the first week of March. Are there any questions about the schedule? Alrighty. These are the CFPs that are currently open on our radar. So we've got Container Days, there's DevConf in Czechia, and KubeCon Cloud Native Con in Japan. Also, if you are going to be at KubeCon next month, these are all the talks that are KubeVirt related or community rated. And we're also going to be running our own KubeVirt Summit Live as part of KubeCon on the third day, on Thursday. So all of the sessions are there for those who are going to be able to make it. One last event, which I've got in the minutes here because I only just saw it about 10 minutes ago, is that the Open Source Summit North America CFP closes next Monday. So sorry about the late notice, but there's still 5 days. So that's going to be in May in sunny Minneapolis. I see a lot happening on the floor. This was just a little FYI from me because it's been what I've been working on for a little while. So we will be having some updates coming to our user guide to enable both translation services and versioning. They kind of go hand in hand. And in doing so, I've noticed there's a bunch of updates that we need to make to various plugins, syntax, and other stuff. So the impact should be pretty low. With regards to the versioning and the translation and how that impacts our current workflow, hopefully there is not too much impact, that is. Basically what will happen is we'll cut a version after, probably not on GA, but there'll probably be a delay to make sure that all the docs that need to be in are in. We can always cherry pick. The localization will happen on that version branch, which will basically be more or less quarantined. And the versioning, so main branch, I imagine, will then not be published as a user guide. It'll be only for development of new content ahead of the next release. And we'll maintain 3 versions, although, like I said, the idea is that those versions are quarantined. Once I've actually got something nailed down a bit better, I can go into more details about that. I just wanted to bring it up as here's something that'll be happening in the not too distant future. Are there any questions about that? Cool. I see something in chat. Advertising all the topics. That's a good idea. Normally, most of the topics turn up on the day, unfortunately. So, yeah, if people have topics, I'll set up the unconference thing that we write on pad. And if people do have ideas they can put there, then we can 100% advertise beforehand.
So in general, would you have quite a few apps targeted 1.9 release? Yeah, I think we can. I mean, if people are interested, we could put these as like initial discussion points. I don't know.
Yep, no, that sounds great. Yep, if we've already got content there, absolutely, we can put them on there. We just don't want them all to be VEPs. We have some other things to discuss, I'm sure. It's not the VEP conference, it's the KubeVirt conference. Anyway, Itamar, you've got an open floor ticket here.
Yeah, hello. Just a minor thing. So we've been discussing to open more Slack channels on the CNCF Slack since we are limited on the Kubernetes Slack. And yeah, I just wanted to ask people if they have ideas on like which channels exactly do we want to open now that we are less limited. I know that people have said that they worry about having too many channels. And yeah, I just wanted to hear if anybody has thoughts about this. So for example, we can go with a per sig channel. We can have, I don't know, a channel for CI and channel for development, or I don't know, things like that. That's like the main idea.
Personally, I like the per sig.
So why do we need to add more channels? The 2 channels we have are very low volume already. It's like 1 message every other day, something like that. Why add more channels? But
So the way I see it is that like in the Red Hat internal Slack, we have like 1,000 channels. Yeah, for sure. But when we talk about like public facing channels, we basically have 1.5 because like the central one is KubeVirt dev on the the Kubernetes Slack, and that's basically the only channel we really use, and it's really bloated with like tons of messages. We also have the virtualization channel, which I don't know what it stands for, to be honest. And that's it. So we basically have 1 channel that we use publicly.
Well, I'm not understanding how you're saying it's bloated, where there's very few messages in either channel. So, and the virtualization channel is usually used by users asking random questions about stuff, and then the dev channel is more development focused. I don't understand why we would need more channels that people will have to go find if they have questions.
I think that one of the reasons that there are few messages there is because we do most of our conversations internally in Reddit Slack, to be honest, which is, this is the main problem that I want to solve. I want to move like most of the conversations to be public. And now I think that most of them aren't.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if more channels will fix this. That's like a different problem. But what I do think is that we need a dedicated channel for approvers, for people who approve stuff that if they want to have a separate conversation.
We do have that now on the CNCF Slack workspace. You might be on the list of people that I thought I added you. I'll look into that afterwards. I tried to add all of the approvers into that.
I don't know. I think that the way people are looking at this, I think, is that like, let's say that I need like to talk about a networking problem. So there is a dedicated channel in Red Hat internal Slack for network. That's the go-to place to talk about it. And there is a channel for CI. There is a channel for whatever. And like most of the people simply don't go public with their questions. I don't know. Maybe I'm attacking it from the wrong side.
Couldn't those conversations just happen on KubeVirt Dev?
I mean, realistically, they don't. I'm not sure what's the cause for it, to be honest.
I mean, it sounds more like a cultural problem rather than a technical problem.
Maybe.
I'm glad you raised this. This is good. I see you tag me, which I didn't see. So thanks for that. I will move us along just because we have a few things on there. If people have thoughts, please add them to the issue that's been posted. Zespre.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I guess it's my turn. Yep. I like to better understand the long-term direction around the BMC and Redfish support in KubeVirt, because we've seen both KubeVirt BMC and KubeVirt Redfish, these two projects' efforts over time. And since this area usually requires ongoing ownership, I'm curious how the community sees the roadmap and long-term maintenance model. So I guess I'll start with some background first. As some of you might know, we've been working on a project called KubeVirt BMC, and the original demand is here. I'll post a link down below the OpenFlow bullet. Yep, that one. So the project was started in maybe 2023, and someone just found this project and said maybe we can include this project because KubeVirt seems to require this feature. And I did a proposal back in 2024, and there were some discussion, and we settled down the discussion, and the proposal was included. So we started with the project migration, but I know the progress might be a bit slow. And during the period, we also do GSOC 2025, and now here we are. And it looks like there is another proposal PR which is happening, and I would like to know the community expectation of in this area, whether we will go with which project, and the interest in this area, whether we can also contribute to the other project, or the technical detail of because I see there are fundamental differences in these two projects. I mean, the KubeVirt BMC and the KubeVirt Redfish project. So I would like to better understand maybe the use case behind the need. So basically, I don't want to waste the effort we've made before. So maybe someone know this area can help a bit, provide some context about the situation.
I could try to shed some light on it, but I think the issue is that KubeVirt BMC was It was first, actually, that's true. And it supported parts of the Redfish API. And the most interesting API we're still looking for, or that was required, is the media mount functionality. It wasn't there in the KubeVirt BMC. And then someone else came up with the KubeVirt Redfish, so that was born just out of the need for that virtual media mount functionality. And it actually worked. So I think the difference between both projects is that KubeVirt BMC, it might have better code quality, but at least initially it wasn't feature complete. And the KubeVirt Redfish, it has all the features, but the code is in some places of questionable quality. And yeah, but basically, I think it won, at least for now, because it was feature complete at the right time. And yeah, one is still, yeah, how do you say something won? I mean, we still have an open web, and it's still under discussion. So you could place your thoughts there, and you could also propose KubeVirt BMC as the project to include. I mean, it's really, I think it's just about who is spending the time to graduate one of the projects, or who is willing to graduate one of the projects.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the context. I think we already have implemented the virtual media mount function. Yeah, back in last year, December. Yeah, I know it's a bit late, but it's there. So maybe I'll look into the implementation detail differences between the two projects, and maybe we can join force.
Yeah, we would try to start by commenting on that web and potentially trying to contact who was his name again? Marsik? Yeah, Marsik. Potentially he's on the Kubernetes Slack as well.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Maybe Hanish, do you have some comments?
No, I think it's good from Flix as well. So yeah, I would like to move forward with Flix point of view at the moment. So there's nothing from my side. Sounds good for me.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for answering the question. Okay, back to you, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, so I don't have any great opinions on this, but yeah, it definitely seems like if the two efforts can go into one, that would be, I think, fantastic. And if it could be accepted into KubeVirt, that'd be even better. So yeah, thank you very much for raising this on our mailing list and here. Aidan Wallace.
Hey, so also new here, but one of the issues I've been seeing, I guess there's a need from our QA team to run custom or at least built from source versions of Libvirt and QEMU for doing testing of pre-release features. And I think it would also be useful for some debugging. There's some documentation that's a bit outdated on how to build custom Libvirt RPMs, but there is none for QEMU, and neither of them are automated in any sort of build process that I could find. I think there's probably an argument to be made that scripts like that shouldn't live in the main KubeVirt repository and should maybe live in KubeVirt CI or potentially somewhere else. So before pushing forward on a VEP, I'd like to kind of get some opinions on if this should exist as part of KubeVirt or if it should be managed independently as a side project, and if it is going to be integrated, where you would like it to be.
Sorry, so let me jump in. I think it was what we had was already very useful for third party, but not third party, but our partners basically developing a functionality that's outside of whatever KubeVirt provides. We had some recent interactions, and people were able to build both QEMU and Libvirt based on the documentation that we had. Or maybe maybe QEMU was trivial, but I'm not sure. The point is, it was built and actually baked into their CI while they were developing code to support like a different type of Virt launcher. I would keep it. I mean, I would definitely have some kind of a reference how to build customer PMs and use it with our Virt launcher in our documentation. I think it's valuable. And I'm not entirely sure if you need a web for this, but
Okay, that was what I was trying to figure out. If it's just updating documentation, I don't think we do. But potentially, if you're going to add more to the build chain to support this, it depends on how common a use case this is. But to me, this is a very scriptable thing, and so integrating it to the build chain would be preferable to just having it documented.
could be. I don't know if anyone else want to comment on this. We definitely can have scripts, and then we can decide whether to use them or not. But all of this is currently located in our hack directory.
Okay, so there's no opposition to having scripts to build Libvirt from source and QEMU from source hosted in the primary KubeVirt repo.
Yeah, no, I don't object. I actually like for it, and then I guess that we could. I mean, as long as it's easy to substitute these sources.
Right.
Thank you and welcome. Lee.
Yeah, so back in January, Red Hat announced a partnership with NVIDIA for basically supporting new sets of hardware that they're coming out with in the near future on day zero, straight off the bat. One of the ways that this work is kind of bubbling up into the upstream into open source that side of things is through the Accelerated Infrastructure Enablement SIG in CentOS. There's a link there. It goes through to an empty repo at the moment. It's being populated at the moment over the coming weeks. My ask to the community here is that basically we'd like to create a temporary fork to kind of work on features associated with this. The work is going to be based against CentOS Stream 10, that obviously isn't the default at the moment for 1.8. And we actually want to base the work on 1.8 itself, post release of 1.8. So that's kind of where the justification for a temporary fork is coming from. The actual changes that are going to be landing up in the CentOS Stream SIG as well are. So they're essentially temporary forks of the kernel QEMU and Libvirt as well. While those kind of the new features are developed before they're upstreamed back into their respective projects and then downstreamed back into CentOS Stream and eventually into RHEL at Red Hat. And we'd like to kind of follow the same approach here, but by using a temporary fork to kind of host our kind of changes that we need to make to consume, especially the new Libvirt APIs and the new Libvirt changes, before then upstreaming them back into KubeVirt itself into main over time whenever it's possible. Basically, when the required bits are available through usual CentOS Stream builds of QEMU, Libvirt, or even the kernel. So yeah, I'd like to namespace this under a new repo instead of just a branch on KubeVirt, just to keep the noise level down for folks working on this stuff. There's like over 300 PRs obviously open at the moment in KubeVirt. There'll be issues as well that we'll probably have to create and write up and just to track stuff as we're working through it. And I don't want kind of outside contributors kind of being confused about what's being worked on and where and stuff. And I think it might be a little bit confusing if we kind of mix the two sets of PRs together just in KubeVirt. So that's kind of why I'm thinking potentially a separate project there. And yeah, so that's the kind of ask at the moment. I've not put any kind of formal request into project info or anything yet. But if folks in the community have any kind of concerns about that approach or have better suggestions, I'm definitely all ears. And I will follow up on the mailing list after this as well, just to give other folks that aren't here a chance to kind of respond as well. But yeah, if folks have any thoughts, I'm all ears.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Basically we had somehow like a discussion on your initial PR about that I complained a bit about that I find this too complicated as your first approach was, and basically I'm just worried about the complexity of this. So do I get this straight or do I understand that correctly, that you're actually really like putting a separate fork or a long-lived feature branch probably in the KubeVirt repository that basically hosts the CentOS 10 changes, so that we have like a clean way of just only using CentOS 10 in that feature branch, apart from the current branch, which is basically like CentOS 9 based. Do I understand that correctly?
So my proposal now is that we actually create a separate repo, so not KubeVirt, but KubeVirt-AEI, just to keep it completely separate. The changes that you're talking about that are against KubeVirt main at the moment to introduce dual support for 9 and 10, they can stay there because I think folks are going to need to kind of play around with 10 ahead of time anyway. But yeah, in this new branch, we would also consume it there. We would probably switch the default over to being 10 in that branch. We would base it only on 1.8 to begin with. That's just a downstream thing that a requirement that we've got at the moment. And we would be rebasing that on the release 1.8 branch from KubeVirt over time as well, periodically. We haven't figured out the cadence yet or what that looks like or how it's going to be automated and stuff. But yeah, we will be keeping up with the actual release branch as well.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah, I think you've got your hand up.
Yes, hey. This is amazing, very exciting to see this unfold. I have one question actually two questions. First, do we have a running list of issues that this new repo is supposed to tackle that will not be available in KubeVirt? I mean to say KubeVirt.
Yeah, we have an understanding of the bits that we're going to have to change to support this on 1.8 and some of the gaps definitely that we can share. The idea behind having the separate repo as well is we can probably write those down in a clearer kind of manner and really spell out exactly what we're looking to tackle there as opposed to back in KubeVirt. Like anything that we can land in KubeVirt will still be going in there. And that obviously for the next 2 weeks with 1.8 and for 1.9 and beyond. But yeah, there's a list of things that Vladik has been working through at the moment where we're going to have to introduce some change just to enable this in 1.8.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would be really interested to see that list. Maybe if I have things on our side, then I can add it there as well. And then the other question that I had was, since this is going to be a temporary effort, and I assume there will be periodic work needed to, maintain this fork and review, what's happening in the fork versus what's happening in the KubeVirt repo. Would it be worth it to create a work group for this? the goal for the work group would be support this fork until until everything is upstream, and then once it is upstream, the group can disband.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, we can definitely form a working group around this. At the moment, again, the target is just to enable this against 1.8, and hopefully by 1.9 or 1.10 we can kind of close it out. So it is hopefully going to be a temporary effort. So yeah, working group fits that. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that will give a very concentrated mechanism for everyone in the community to follow the update. So, and if you need any help in formation or carrying out the duties of this, then I can help out. Just ping me.
Yeah, I definitely will do. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Do you have any back channels to get us some CI maybe for this?
To what?
Just if we could get a Vera Rubin system or two, that would be really appreciated.
Oh yes.
Okay, maybe just one then. Maybe just one. Sorry, I was being greedy.
We are over time, so but this might be something relevant to SIG compute anyway. David, are you looking for like a follow-up review for this PR, or is there more to say on it?
Yeah, I would be happy if someone could maybe. I think this could be approved, or I'm not sure. I think this is ready. This PR.
Awesome. I'll throw it onto the SIG compute agenda, which should have started 4 minutes ago, and then we'll wrap up the day.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Thanks.
That's right. Thanks everybody for bringing up a very full agenda. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.